Hello, Robert Stritzinger here, coming to you from my home on beautiful Lake Michigan. Today, you are going to learn about the power of intention to create magic in your life. Before we get into that, let me ask you a question. Have you ever set an intention and then had something happen without much effort on your part? Have you ever set an intention and then had something kind of magical happen that you really didn't think would happen the way you had intended it to, but you still had an intention that you set? Think about it a little bit, because a lot of times that has happened to us, but we haven't really realized that we've done it on purpose. Okay, so what I want to do now is tell you a story about the power of intention and how I used it to, create some magical outcomes in my life. All right, just a little bit over a year ago, I was working a job. I'm a chef. I was working a job that was over 70 hours a week, and I was basically working, I was basically living to work and not working to live. And I was working so hard, I worked myself actually into exhaustion. I couldn't work. I had to take time off. I was, just, exhausted. And during that time, I knew that I had wanted a change for like 2 years. I knew, but I was still in this job. I was still doing it because it was comfortable for me, I guess. I don't know. I was just doing it even though I knew that I needed something else. And the question I asked myself was, what is really important to me? And that answer was that I wanted to move back to live near my family, because my parents were getting very old. Not very old, but I mean, my dad's 82, but, they're getting older, and I had been away from my family and parents, and all the rest of my family lives in Michigan. And so I made the decision I was going to move back to Michigan. Now, the intention I set was, this was July, and my intention was to move back to Michigan before April of the following year. Now, we have a slow time at my job where I was working, and that was out in California at Yosemite National Park. And during that slow time, which was, January 1st through April 1st, I said, okay, that's the time I'm going to take to find a new job back in Michigan. I'm going to find a job. This was my intention. I'm going to find a job back in Michigan before April. I'm going to find a job where I work a lot less hours and have a lot more time off, maybe even weekends off, which chefs never have weekends off. And so that was my intention. And what happened was, in about September, I saw my brother. My brother came to visit, and right before he was leaving, I said to him, I said, hey, I want to move back to Michigan. I hadn't told anyone. I didn't want anyone to get their hopes up, especially my mom. And I had told him, you keep your eyes open for a chef's job in Michigan, because I want to move back by April of next year. And he looked at me, he's like, what are you talking about? I'm a banker. I don't know, I don't know chefs. I don't know people with restaurants. And I said, well, just, go ahead and do it anyways. I just had this, feeling that I should ask him right before he was leaving. And so I just did it. And that's one thing you have to be open to, is these kind of intuitions when you set an intention. And so he went back, and just a little over a week after he got back to Michigan, he called me on the phone, and he was like, hey, guess what? I know this guy who's a part owner in a golf club, and they're looking for a chef to start by April. And I'm like, wow, this is perfect. This is exactly it. It just fell in my lap. I didn't have to do anything. I didn't have to search. I didn't have to send out resumes or anything. Well, I didn't have the job yet. Of course, I had to, go, send in a resume. I had to go back and try out for the job. And, but at that point, because everything just lined up so easily, I knew in my head, I said, this is it. This is my job. I knew it was mine. I went to the job interview, and I had to do a little cooking type interview where I cooked food, and so they saw my skills and got to know me a little bit. But I knew that, okay, this is it. This is my job. This is what I meant to have. And that's the way that the power of intention works to create magic in your life. So if you are interested in how to use the power of intention to create magic in your life, then just click on this link below. That will take you to my blog post, and it'll give you a lot more information about it. It'll tell you a little bit about Dr. Wayne Dyer's book and what he says about intention. And it'll also tell you about another person who has created a huge, huge amount of success for a lot of people, including myself. I am now, a semi-retired chef, and living on Lake Michigan, and it is because of my intention, the intention that I set. And so go ahead, click that link right below, go over there and check that blog post out. I think you're really gonna like it. And also make sure you are subscribing to my my YouTube channel to get more cool videos like this.